Welcome to the Bachelor Breakdown, where we break down the game of life.
Especially the games that men play.
I'm your girl, Erica.
I'm Ashley. Let's break it down.
All right, welcome to the Bachelor Breakdown. I'm Erica. It's my cousin, Ashley. We're back with you right now. We are finally in the month of February, which we all know means Valentine's Day, which can be great, and it can be kind of a tough time of the year for some people. So today's topic is going to be something that if you have a tough time with it, or even if you don't, it'll just be a fun, interesting, and I think a helpful topic, which is the singles dilemma. What break down what we mean by the singles dilemma, Ashley?
Well, yes, because I am single, very single. And I feel like for a lot of single women who have been single for a good period of time,
I've
I
been
think
single
we,
4 years. Wow, it's
yeah,
wow, crazy to say that out loud.
about 3 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not about three for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like after spending so much time with yourself and not partnered, because I feel like
Yes.
even though we're not in relationships, like we have great friendships,
Yes.
we're together all the time, like so we have relationships, just not romantic ones. I think
Life is very full. It's
life
not
is full
sad
for us. It's
at
not
all.
we're not
That's
sad
great.
women knitting sweaters,
Not at all.
um, which is the stereotype, right? But I feel like for single women who haven't been in relationships for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
we face the challenge, a real dilemma these days.
We get
Because
comfortable,
we
right?
get comfortable with ourselves. Like, we get
Yes.
comfortable with the friendships that we have, the family
Yes.
relationships that we have, and because our life is full,
Mhm.
we are very picky about who we allow to come in. And it's
Yes.
so funny because you see it kinda everywhere on social media. It's like, "Oh, he breathed wrong. No, thank you."
He chewed wrong. Why are you chewing like that? It's like little thing. I
"Did
get
you
it.
see his shoes and socks?" Like, "No,
I
thank you."
know. It's crazy. But
I
I think what it is that I think so many women and I can't speak for you, but it's not that I'm necessarily single because I just love being single. I'm very much so happy being single.
Yeah,
Because like you said, I'm very careful, especially these days, on who I let in my space.
yes.
I think that my years of dating in my 20s and 30s, I've had some really great relationships. And just like everyone else, I've had some really terrible relationships. And all those things have helped me to learn and grow and to really understand who I need in my life as a
Mhm.
partner, who's going to really be a compliment to me. Because I think in our generation, I no longer am looking to just have someone. I don't just
Yeah,
want you because you're a living, breathing man. I
exactly.
want you because you make my life better. I want you because I can't imagine going forward in life without having you by my side.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for. And until I find that, for me, relationships require work to
Right.
really, in my opinion, to grow and to flourish. You got to keep watering them. And until I find someone who wants to water the garden the same way I do, and we're on the same page and we want to create our own culture together,
Yes.
to me, it's not worth it because my life is so full and I've put down my own roots regardless. So I'm
Well,
very content.
I think you hit it right on the head. It's like we don't need someone just to have someone. Where I feel
No.
like women 30 years ago, like my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation, like they needed
Hmm.
men to survive. So they needed someone just to
Yes.
have someone as a means of survival. But also it
Hmm.
wasn't I don't feel like, even with all the feminist movements, I don't feel like it was a time where women were really empowered to be like,
Hmm.
no, do like focus on
Yes.
yourself, do your own thing, create your own career path, like have deeply connected friendships and family relationships. Like I do
Hmm.
feel like even in my mother's generation,
Hmm.
they were taught like you in order to be a happy woman, you needed somebody.
Yes.
So they have somebody just to have somebody. And we're like our generation and those that will come after us, I feel like they won't we're not doing that. And
No.
as a woman, I'm 37. now as a woman that grew up with that mindset being projected onto me, like you need to have someone, you know, you need to be understanding, men are going to be men, like that was
Mhm.
taught to me.
That
um
yes, I think that's what people said back in the day, very
yeah,
much so.
so that was taught to us, but I think we are and have figured out like that's bullshit. Like
Mhm, mhm.
we can do all everything that a man can do for us, we can
Yes.
do for ourselves, and it's not like rejecting men, like we love men.
No, not at all, and
um
we need men. I don't want you and
yeah,
I, we're not men bashers. We need you guys.
no, we need
We
men,
love men.
like
It's not that, it's
as a
just
compliment, right, to our
yeah.
life. Like, and
Mhm.
we do want partners. It's not like we're like anti,
100%.
like we don't want
No, not at
partners, but
all.
I feel like at the stage in our life, and this is where I feel like what women are learning, like the
Yes.
more you create the life that you want to live, the more you
Mhm.
create and live on your own terms,
Yes.
and not just what society tells you you should want and value and believe, but the more
Mhm.
you really do get into this
Who
is how
you
I want
are,
to live
what
my
works.
life. This is who I am. This is what works for me.
Mhm.
This is what aligns with me.
Mhm.
The more you realize, like, I don't have to settle for
No.
anything, and I can
No.
really live life on my own terms. And you become more selective. And I do
Yes.
believe it's the selectivity
Yes.
that is
Yes.
causing more women to be like single and not single, but like less willing to settle, and it's causing this dilemma. Like,
Yes, it
yes, I do
is.
want to be partnered, but I don't want to deal with a motherfucker
No, that
that's not on the same page.
yes.
Or we're just it's that, or it's that women I have been in traumatic relationships, figured
Mhm.
a way out,
Yes.
and don't want to go enter back into those traumatic relationships or in any type of
once you've
dynamic that doesn't
recovered
serve this. Yeah, once you fucking recover for
once
some
you
bullshit.
recover, you're like, "I'm not letting anyone mess up this ecosystem I have created and this safe space for myself." And I think for me, shout out to my parents because one thing I have to say is that I grew up in a household. My parents have been married. I can't even tell you how many years. They've been together for a while. And I grew up with a dad that was very much so like involved, mother very
Mhm,
so involved.
mhm.
And my dad for me is such an example on like what a man should be. A man should be a provider. He should be the head of the household. I'm very much so old school in that way. I'm also knowing that our society has changed.
Yeah.
I know that now men and women both contribute. But for me, my dad has always been such an example of like, yeah, like a man can be one that doesn't have wandering eyes, that's focused on the family,
Yeah.
who's home, who wants to provide. I mean, my dad don't want to hang out with anyone but us 24/7. We can't get rid of them. You know what I mean? So it's just like for me, that's what I want is a
Right.
partner that's 100% invested and committed to his
I
family.
like that
And
investment. Yeah.
because I've only seen that, it's very hard for me to accept certain individuals, because yes, I've
Mhm.
been single for years. That doesn't mean I haven't been potentially talking to people or people
Right.
try to
Right.
introduce you. It just hasn't been where I'm like, okay, I'm willing and interested enough to stay.
Right.
And I think a lot of women, um, I heard something in an interview, they're saying a lot of women, we want that old kind of love, that old charming notebook, committed partnership love.
Well, I do feel like that has been lost in
Yes.
our generation, just like social media and the ease of access to people. I do
Mhm.
believe like that type of commitment and relationship has been lost a little bit.
Yes.
But I do feel like a shift in that it is coming back
Oh, it
slowly.
is. It
Um,
is.
but I feel like there's a challenge and there will be a disconnect because women are
Yes.
like, "Mm, I'm good."
Well,
You know?
yeah.
It's so
Because
I
because you have too much to lose. When you've
right.
really done the work and you've put down your own roots rather than waiting to someone to put down roots, and waiting for someone to put down roots, in my opinion, feels like someone who's not grounded. And
Mhm,
that probably sounds judgmental, and I don't mean that in that way, but I know for me, when I was still feeling like I was very stagnant in my life and I kind of
mhm,
felt like I was in limbo, it was because I was waiting for that partner. Oh, I
mhm.
can't buy a house. I can't move. I can't do this till I find my person, right? Everything was on hold until one day I woke up and I was like, why am I waiting?
Right.
I don't know when he's going to show up. I know he's going to show up, But
I do feel like a
until
lot of
then,
women, yeah, get stuck in the waiting. And I can
yes.
say that for myself. It's like we're waiting for it's either you get in like me, I got in a relationship when I was really young
Hmm.
and I had kids young and I sacrificed my career to support my then partner.
Hmm.
Um
Hmm.
I was in the waiting of, well, once my kids get old enough and then
Yes.
once he retires, like then I'll go back to school and I'll have my own career. But it's always, I feel like women are always waiting
Always
to
waiting.
live their own lives. And when they figure out, like you said, when you put
Yeah.
down your own roots and you stop waiting and you get out of that stagnant
Yes.
season, because I do feel like it's a season. And
It
I feel like
is.
that's what women are waking up to. Like, I
Yes.
don't have to wait around.
I don't have to wait
I'm gonna
around.
create the life that I want to live. If someone comes along and compliments it, like you said, not
Hmm.
completes, because baby,
No one can complete you,
no one can
honey.
complete
If
you
you're not complete on your own, no one can make that complete.
at all.
No.
But
That's
if
probably your sign you shouldn't date someone, in my opinion.
exactly. Be complete, and then you find
Yes.
the compliment, then it all works. And in the meantime, and even in the meantime of that, like you don't
Hmm.
have to wait for the perfect partner. Like if you want
No.
to chat with someone, go to
Of
some dinners,
course. Have
like
fun.
go on a weekend trip,
Flirt.
flirt, like live
Yeah.
your life,
You're
but really
human.
understand, like
Yeah.
if you're in this dilemma, one, don't be waiting for anybody,
No. You're just
anyone.
going to make yourself miserable.
You just make yourself completely miserable and
Yes.
and less fulfilled. Like live your life.
And when you do that, where you are waiting, in my opinion, you're more susceptible to making choices, irrational choices
Mhm.
that I think you'll regret. Because when you're letting yourself stay in that limbo, which is a worst place to be in, I don't care. Limbo in general is horrible. Whether you're in a relationship and you're trying to figure, I mean, it's the worst, right?
Mhm.
And so I feel like if you allow yourself to stay in that space too long, you are willing and open to everything, good
Yes.
and bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very vulnerable and unsafe place to be in. So,
How do you feel? Okay, so I know we've chatted about this, but we want to chat
mhm.
about it with the people. So you meet someone.
Okay.
You've been single. We've both been single. You meet
Yes.
someone. You really
Uh-huh.
like them. They want to move
Yes.
forward,
Mhm.
but you don't want anybody moving into your house. You can't live with
Ooh.
me.
Yes.
How
Well,
you
this is
handle
the thing.
it?
Actually, it's so funny because, I'm really into interior design. Like, I
Mhm.
love it.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's what I do in my free time.
Right.
And a lot of people, I think it was controversial. Everyone's like, what? Cameron Diaz recently did an interview where she said that she and her husband have separate bedrooms, which is kind of like an old school thing,
Yeah.
where the woman had her room, the man had his room, and then typically they would share a bathroom
Mhm.
back in the day. And so this is a trend that we're seeing more and more with our generation.
Hmm.
And I actually love it. I think if I ever meet my person, I'm going to be like, let's just build a house together. We'll make
Okay.
two master bedrooms, right? We'll make two master bedrooms. You can decorate like you want. I'll respect it. I'll decorate like I want. Let's have our safe spaces, but then let's share everything else. But I
Okay.
think that allows you to continue to be an individual and to be
Right.
yourself, which I think is so important. But at the same time, you are a partnership, you are a team. But I think it's still important in any relationship to still be able to have and be yourself. And I think
Yes.
that allows partners to be that way, not interrupting your sleep, which is really important to me. I'm
Well,
trying.
actually, I know a lot of married people. I do know a lot of married people that have
Yes.
separate bathrooms that sleep in separate rooms because one may snore and the other
Yes.
is like, no, I need my sleep. Like we
I
come
think it
together.
keeps the romance too
Yeah.
alive, right?
Yeah, like we
Let's
come
keep
together
some
and we
things,
do what we need to do, but like go to
right?
your room and
Yeah.
leave me
Bye.
alone. And that's the thing, like
Bye.
even with me, like I have my home. I
Yes.
don't want nobody in my space. Like,
I
and
don't
that's
want
okay.
anyone in my
So that's the
space.
thing. I've been
Unless
single for 3 years, and I don't want it. Like, I don't want to share space with anybody.
I
Like, this
really
is
don't
my
either.
space. This is my happy place.
But then,
I'll
but Ashley, do you think that means it's not the right person? Someone said that to me, and I was like, huh. They're like, maybe it's not the right person. Because they're like, if it is the right person, you're going to want them in your space. But I was like, no, I want them in, like, maybe like across the street would be great. I'm just
around the
playing.
corner, across the street, down the street, 5 minutes away, like close. Yes.
Yes.
In my space, do I want to share a space with someone every day? I don't know. And I
I
think
don't really
that's where
know.
like the singles
It's
dilemma is
hard.
really coming in. It's because
And so many women say that. We're not alone.
we're not
So
alone.
many
No, so
women
many
say
women are
that.
like, I don't. So many married, even married women are like,
Yes.
leave me alone. I was having a conversation with some of my married friends the other day, and one
Mm-hmm.
was like, they were in, like her husband had just changed shifts,
Uh-huh.
so they were in the, like able. He was off nights,
Oh, okay.
so now they're home and they can sleep together every night. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, move, like
Like, go over.
get away from me. You are in my face. I'm used to
I
having a bed
know.
to myself. Like, move, leave me alone. Like, don't stop touching me. And I
But
think
Ashley, I can hear the guys right now. Well, then you just need to be single. Because my dad was like, well, honey, I don't think that'll work if you get married. And I was like, well, I'm also fine not getting married. Like, I'm fine just having a really strong partnership that we're committed to,
I
Like,
am too. I think the definitions of what relationships are, what romantic
yeah.
relationships are, they have to evolve, right? And I think
Yes,
that
they
they
evolve.
are
Mm-hmm.
because if we go to our scouting report this week,
Ooh.
it's expected 45% of women between ages 25 to 44 are expected to be single and childless by
Mm,
2030. And I think that's a great indicator of where the state of romantic relationships, one, but two,
mhm,
that also values, attitudes, and beliefs towards romantic relationships are
mhm.
changing, right?
Yes.
If we what worked 50 years ago is not working in
Yeah, the world's
2024.
evolved.
The
We
world's
have to
evolved,
evolve too.
women
Yeah.
are evolving, we are realizing the responsibility and also the
Mhm.
work of relationships and
Mhm.
choosing,
Yes.
not because no one wants us, but
Mhm.
literally choosing not to settle for bullshit and
Mm-mm.
create a life that we want. And how
That we
much of a
want.
man we want to experience and how little of a man we want to experience, that's kind of our terms now.
It's
So I
yeah.
think if people do want to be partnered, and it might work best for like people without kids, but for
Mhm.
me, when I meet someone,
Mhm.
we might he gonna have to have his own house and I'm gonna have to have mine. And we can be
Yes.
like in a
I want you to
committed
have your own space.
relationship,
Mhm.
but we ain't living together. At least for a
No.
while.
No.
I just don't want
Unless we
anybody
buy a
in my space.
farm. I would love that. I'd love to buy a farm, like, way out. You know what I mean? And have, like, chickens and stuff, and then we'll have 2 houses on the farm, and then we can, like, hang out. "What you doing tonight? Let's
I
come over.
can't.
Let's let's
I
let's
actually
go
met
do some
someone
yard work."
and like he lives in a different city. And he was
Mhm.
like, so have you ever been in a long distance relationship? And I had to think about it. And I was like,
I've been in so many not so many, I sound like I've dated a lot. I've dated on my hand, but most of my relationships were
we're
long
long
distance.
distance. Well, I feel like my relationship, the longest one I had,
Mhm.
was long distance the entire time because even when we lived
Mhm.
in the same city, in the
Mhm.
same house, he was always gone traveling with work.
Oh, okay.
So, and I remember like I looked forward to him leaving because when he was home, it was so much work. It was so much like chaos and confusion.
Oh, exhausting.
It was exhausting because I was up
But
and moving
Ashley,
all day. And
but
I was like, whoo, he's gone. Oh, thank God.
But you know what you're speaking to, what your comment just
What?
confirmed is that they were saying that relationships have changed so much because men are here's what they said. I had something. They said that married women are more so unhappy
Hmm.
compared to married women. And so the reporter was like, "Well, why is
Single
that?"
women? Married women
That
are more
oh,
unhappy than single women?
yes, yes.
Or
Eh,
married men?
no, they said that married women are more unhappy. The numbers are more unhappy, unsatisfied married women and that single women were much more happier than
Yes.
the married women, and that
Yes.
married men were much happier than unmarried men.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
said, well, why is this? And so the person who was sitting down doing the interview said, well, it's because married women, when they get married, they have so much responsibility to be cleaning and cooking and all those household responsibilities for
Yeah.
the husband.
Mm.
And so that's why they're unhappy. And the single women don't have that kind of responsibility. Whereas the married men are happy because they're being taken care of.
Right.
So
Cared for, like waited on, like served
it's 24/7. So I think,
24/7.
especially, and I've always felt this way, but after hearing that, that's why for me, I'm already really tired with everything I have to do to
Yes.
keep my world going.
Yes.
And that's why I say, and what I mean when I say I want a partner, I
Yes.
don't want more responsibility.
Well, I think
It's
that
not worth it.
I think you just said a lot right there. It's like women are realizing in our generation
Mhm.
are realizing relationships are being redefined and
Mhm.
reimagined.
Yeah.
And what we're realizing is that relationship, the purpose of them is connection, which is what we are
Yeah.
neurobiologically hardwired to want. We are
You just
humans
want your
and
best friend.
we want to be connected, right?
100%.
And women are realizing, oh, I can have deeply connected relationships with
Mhm.
my friends, with
Mhm.
my family members, hell, with
Mhm.
coworkers at work. Like I can
Yeah.
get my connection needs met
Mhm.
outside of a romantic
Yes.
relationship. And if my romantic relationship is a source of responsibility and not
Mhm.
connection, I'm cool.
You
Like
said it so
I
well.
don't want to deal with being responsible for another
Yes.
grown ass human being who doesn't
No. No,
understand
thanks.
the what relationship really is. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
and that's not to say that I think both of you and I both, like, we're very much so in our feminine where, like, when we are with a
Oh
partner,
yeah.
I wanna take care of you, baby. Like,
Yeah.
I wanna cook for you, I wanna do all that stuff, I wanna
Mhm.
love on you. That's who I am naturally, but I don't want it where it is a expectation that creates a burden and
Right.
resentment,
Right.
and I don't want that.
No.
It's one of those things where I love on you because I love on you, but it's also, you know, I'm getting that back too.
Right. It's
You see what I'm
reciprocal.
saying? It's
Yeah, it's
reciprocated.
reciprocal. So yeah, I think
So,
that we're all facing like women in our positions and we
yes.
are a growing segment
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
US. Um
Yep.
we're just like, shit, we have a dilemma. Do
We're
we
over it.
settle or do we live life on our own terms and,
I'm
not
allergic
be
to settling. I
not
can't
be
because I think it was like 2 years ago, I was like, "It's been a minute. Maybe I should try." And I couldn't. I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. He was talking, I was like, I
Yeah, no,
couldn't.
that's me. Like I meet a guy, we talk
I
like 2
can't.
weeks to a month is my
I cannot.
is the longest it lasts because I'm like, no, leave me alone. And
No.
if I get to the point where I'm like, fuck, leave
I
me
know.
alone,
Yes.
and then I'm like, I'm good, I'm good.
I'm
Mm-mm.
good.
Just reaffirm me. But I also
Yeah.
look at it like, also I look at it like when I meet someone, I'm not
Yes.
forcing
Uh-huh.
anything to work. I'm not
No.
putting all my eggs in one basket.
I'm so chill.
I'm not fantasizing or romanticizing what the future could be.
Not at
I'm
all.
also so I'm like less willing. I'm less
Mhm.
invested, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I observe. I think we did an episode a few months ago that was like when you meet someone, you need to be listening and observing.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
I'm
don't talk so much.
observing everything, and
Mhm.
if it's something that I don't like that doesn't
Mhm.
align, I am like,
Mhm. Yeah. But I'm
I'm
much quicker now.
quicker, like
Yes.
let it go.
Yes.
So I don't waste my time and I don't waste
Mhm.
your time and you get closer to what you want and I get closer to what I want. And I do
100%.
look at that as like a learning process. So like
Mhm.
I think the singles dilemma isn't really like, do we want to be partnered or do we not want to be partnered? Are we
Yes.
willing to settle or are we not willing to settle? It's like learning. Like we
Yeah.
really get to learn ourselves and
Yes.
what we want
Mhm.
and we get to choose.
We
I
get to
think it's all
choose.
about women being able to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Jesus wanted for us. Right? Isn't that what he gave us? He did it. So we had choice, free choice.
Dying. I ain't never heard that one, but that's a good one.
But
Yes.
he did. That's what he wanted for his
He
daughters, you
wanted
know,
us to be able to choose, and
to
I
choose.
love it. So, if you are single this month, in the month
Mhm.
of love, which
Yep.
let me just inform you, it's
Mhm.
all a
It's just a
marketing.
day. It's just a
It's just
day.
all marketing. Like it's marketing for companies to get you to buy their shit to make you believe that you are more loved than you probably are.
Yes.
So it's not to say like we hate Valentine's Day. Like I celebrate Valentine's Day with my kids, with my
Yeah.
friends,
I celebrate it by myself. I have the
with
best time.
literally. So it's not to say like don't celebrate Valentine's Day
No, you
or
should celebrate it.
do what you want to do, but like keep in mind, like if
Mhm.
you are in a position where you are single,
Mhm.
one, you're single, you're
Mhm.
not lonely.
No.
That's one. But
And
two,
remember, you're breathing, you're living, you're doing
right.
really good.
Like, but two,
Look to the bright side.
it's also an indicator of like you loving yourself because if you
100%.
you could be partnered and in a relationship like
And be
that
miserable.
and be miserable, but you're
Yeah.
choosing something different for yourself, which is an act of
The
self-love.
respect that you have for yourself.
Right.
Mhm.
So if you are feeling like, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up, I don't have anyone to celebrate with, like
Mhm.
some things you can do, which is our in-game adjustment this month, is
Mhm.
to make a plan for yourself. Like celebrate yourself. Like celebrate find like make a plan to do something for you
Yes.
specifically and very intentionally. Whether that's
Mhm.
like a restaurant, like we have a restaurant here in town,
Mhm.
Brendan's Catch,
Mhm.
that offers like like Erica, you tell,
Oh,
but yeah.
yeah, so there's these, to-go, packages where you get, like, a full, like, four-course dinner, and you can do add-ons with it, where you can add on a dozen roses and
Yeah,
chocolates and bottle of champagne or wine, whatever you want, and so many women do this to go where they're treating themselves, and I love that because, like you were saying, there's some people who really, have a hard and tough time on
mhm,
Valentine's Day. And I always say it's just like anything in life. It's changing your perspective on things.
right,
So for me, Valentine's Day is about love, right? Not necessarily a romantic partner, but during
mhm,
that day, I really think about everyone I love, like my family, um, all the love that I have in my life that I'm surrounded by.
right,
It's really how you change your perception and how you look at it. And
yeah,
I think if you look at it that way, it is a beautiful day and it's a great day to reach out or spend time with those that you love.
right,
You just have to change your perspective. And I think a really important thing, which is why I love that Brendan's offers this to go Valentine's Day thing. Sometimes you don't want to go out by yourself, but it's
right,
a great thing to be able to really treat yourself and do something special for yourself on that
mhm.
day. So I suggest doing that or having a get
Yeah,
together with your girlfriends or
yeah. If you're in Louisville, Brendan's is one of my favorite restaurants, so you should go there,
yes.
and exercise those
Yes,
options.
for
But
sure.
if you're like not in Louisville, like I'm sure there are restaurants that do it in your city.
Yeah.
You can do a Galentine's Day with your girlfriends, like go to nice,
Yes.
like get dressed, go to dinner, have a dinner at
Mhm.
your home, like get together and play
Mhm.
like like fun little games. Like it's
Mhm.
just make a plan for yourself if you feel the anxiety of, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up and I don't have a partner.
Yes. Yes.
Um
Mhm.
and
Eh,
two, like three, you could just not don't buy into the hype. Like it's
don't
just
buy into
another
the
fucking
hype.
day.
No, and I've noticed a lot of, groups of guys booking these really big tables during Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
where it will be like a group of 20 dudes just
Really?
yes, and so I think what it is really especially with our generation, which I think is a really cool thing, we're changing the rhetoric, we're changing
Mhm.
it all, and I think it's great to start normalizing that it's great to have relationships. We're not saying that, "Oh, be
No,
single
you
and be"
need relationships.
you
You're
need
that
it,
because that's what you're searching
especially
for.
romantic.
You're
You
searching
do.
for connection, and if you
100%.
don't have relationships that are deeply connected, then
Mhm.
you are more likely to settle because in your
Exactly.
mind, a husband or a wife
Mhm.
means you have a partner, you have all
Mhm.
the things that
Mhm.
build connection. But the truth is, it doesn't. You need
It
to
does, yeah.
be deeply connected to people,
Exactly.
and not just one person. I think that's why married women are so much less happier
Yeah.
than single women is because
Mhm.
I feel like the focus for married women is their husband solely,
Yeah,
right?
and kids and
And
families. They
kids and
probably
family.
lose those
So they lose
outside.
a lot of outside relationships where
Mhm.
married men, they have what
Mhm.
they need,
Yeah.
somebody to be responsible for them. Where like
Mhm.
single women, we have so many deeply connected relationships outside of that, and we figured out, oh,
Yes.
these connect, like the connection is what
Mhm.
serves me, not
Exactly.
just the quote unquote relationship.
And I think that's an important, it's kind of off topic what I'm going to say, but I think what you made is a good point is I think sometimes even women who aren't married that are in relationships or might have children, you tend to lose those outside connections, which are really instrumental and very important
Right.
for you because it keeps you grounded when you have that connections with others in general. And I think it's kind of funny, especially on Instagram. I follow a lot of different influencers and a lot of them are married. And I always watch their husbands leaving to go play golf,
Mhm.
right? Like the
Mhm.
guys are going to get their me time and have their bro time and do all
Yeah.
this stuff. And I never see the women really doing that much. Like, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? They're going on like play dates with the kids. And I'm like, well, that's not fun. And
No.
because you still have kids, not that I don't have kids, so I can't speak to that. I'm sure there's people love to have their kids with them. But to me, I'm like, the guys get the bro time with no kids, no one around. I'm like, hell, I want to go play golf too. I'm a
Well, I actually
golfer.
saw
Let
I
me
saw
go. Like,
I saw it was like a reel on Instagram. It was a mom who was leaving on a Sunday to go play golf because she was like,
yes.
her husband had left Saturday to go play golf all day. She was like, "You went yesterday. I'm figuring."
Yeah.
He was like, "You don't even golf." She was like, "I'll figure it out." And I
I'll
just
figure it
get
out.
time away. Um,
Yeah. Or go
so
together. Like, make
yeah,
it like a fun couple thing and get a babysitter. But I think it's really important that everyone gets that time to just be them, to
yes.
connect with others. Like, it's important.
I do feel like even for married women listening to this,
Yeah.
y- make a plan for you and your girlfriends, or
Yeah.
make a plan for yourself
Yes.
for Valentine's Day if you choose, or any
Mm-hmm.
day of the month, during
Mm-hmm.
any month. Like,
Yeah.
do make a plan to still cultivate those deep connections outside of your
Oh,
marriage.
I have a question. I have a
What?
question.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So what is your advice,
Okay.
okay, to women? Because I hear this a lot, and I'm hearing it
Hmm.
right now some of my married friends, where they start to have fights with their significant other on Valentine's Day. So one of my friends, she's
Ooh.
mad because she goes, he never prepares, he never makes reservations, he does nothing special for me on Valentine's Day. So she just goes ahead and plans the entire day. So she plans the day because she's like, I'm going to make sure I enjoy my Valentine's Day how I want. But he gets mad at her and says, I never get to do anything nice for you because you do it ahead of time and don't allow me to do
Mm.
it. But she says, when I've allowed you to do it, it doesn't happen. So she goes, your track record is not there. But he goes, you don't ever give me the space to do anything nice for you. So what do
Okay.
you
I
say
can I can
to
speak to
that?
that personally because that's how it played out in my last relationship
Hmm.
all the fucking time.
Really?
So I don't know, I don't know what it is. I'm only speculating here.
Okay.
But when I would not plan anything and I would leave the planning up to him, whether it was my birthday, whether it was our anniversary, whether it was Valentine's Day, he never showed up for it. And he used to always, and this is where I think manipulation plays like a role in relationships.
Hmm.
He would always say, well, I was thinking of doing this, but I knew it wouldn't be good enough for you, as if my he couldn't meet my level of expectation, or it was too high,
I'd be
right?
like, please try, and then
He
we
was
will.
right, like projecting onto me his insecurity,
Yeah.
which I think is cowardly.
Hmm.
But then so I got used to like having my like be expecting to do something, because it's not like we
Yeah.
did something all the time. Like I
Yes.
it was
Okay.
literally be on holidays. That's the only time we ever did anything.
Okay.
So I got used to being like having expecting something and being let down, because and then being blamed for, oh,
Yeah.
this night wouldn't have been good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then I
yeah.
start planning my own shit. Like I would
Mhm.
plan my own birthday, I would plan
Mhm. Mhm.
Valentine's Day, I would plan the
Mhm.
anniversary, I would plan everything. And then it was, you don't, then it turned into that. You don't allow me to do anything nice for
Which
you.
kind of sounds like a cop out.
It's a manipulation again, because it's
Be
like, no, I did allow you to.
Yes.
Not even like I allowed you to. I was hoping that you
Yeah.
did. I was
Uh-huh.
hoping that you showed up for it, but you never
Mhm.
did. So instead of
Mhm.
going without, I decided this is what I want to do. This is what I want,
Yes.
and I would plan it. And then it was
Yes.
easy for you. All you had to do was show up and pay for it, because
Mhm.
that's all you were capable of doing.
Yes,
Um,
yes. But
so
then it's not fun though, because
it
I get
doesn't feel, you know what it doesn't feel? It doesn't feel like they care. It
no.
doesn't cultivate or
Yeah,
nurture the caring
you're
and
right.
thoughtful
Mhm.
and romantic part of a
Yes.
relationship. It doesn't do it. It
It doesn't
doesn't
feel
do it
it.
at all. It doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're
Genuine.
valued, or, and as a woman who, if you're
Mhm.
in a traditional gender rolled relationship, as
Mhm.
a woman who's doing everything to
Mhm.
support their partner and
Mhm.
being responsible for everything outside of earning money, it doesn't
Mhm.
feel like you're valued or
No.
appreciated or cared for, because
No.
if it's 4 days out of a year,
You're like, "You can't show
birthday,
up on this?"
right, birthday,
Yeah.
anniversary,
Mhm.
Valentine's Day, maybe
Mhm.
Mother's Day, or maybe Christmas
Mhm.
or another holiday, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's 4 times out of the year, you're like, "Damn, you can't make a plan for 4 times out of
For
the year?
yeah.
What am I?" And
It's
I'm
like,
putting in work every single day. Why the fuck am I in this relationship?
why do
Which is
it?
another reason
Yeah.
women
Are
become
choosing to
single,
just
are
say
choosing
yeah.
to be single, like choosing to stay single or leaving relationships.
Mhm.
We know what it takes to maintain a relationship. Like, we don't, it ain't the fairy tale. It's not,
Yeah.
we're living in a
Mm-mm.
false reality.
Mm-mm.
We understand what it takes. So if
100%.
we meet someone that mirrors an ex
Mhm.
or doesn't understand
Then you
relationship
run.
dynamics, then we're like, we're out.
They're an X for a reason. You know what I would say to that, and I think that what you said is so true. For me, what I told that friend
Hmm.
and is I can see both sides, right? And
Hmm.
I've been in that place. I've been in a relationship with someone who never planned anything. It was always
Hmm.
me because he never made reservations. Oh, it's too crowded and everyone's out, or never made plans. I'd always just end up cooking. And I got really used to relationships where they just never did anything for me, whether it
Hmm.
was birthdays or whatever. It was just really never anything special whatsoever. And I guess you get to the point where you think, okay, well, maybe this is just
The
how
norm.
men are,
Yeah.
right? And then I dated someone, and and I guess this is why we are still friends to this day, who was the polar opposite. And he made plans and he showered me with love and affection and attention on those days. And I remember being not even sure how to receive it
Hmm.
because it was so foreign to me. I was so awkward. I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, we're going to dinner for my birthday. Ah, you're planning a trip for me for my birthday." It was
Hmm.
so foreign for me that I was
Hmm.
so awkward. He's like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "This is how you should be treated.
Right.
I should make this time. I should plan ahead. I should make because you're important in my life."
Right.
And I to this day just love that man for not romantically because he's moved on and
Hmm.
we're like still very good friends, but I just so appreciate him because he taught me that if someone cares, and this is for men too, with if you're with a female partner, if someone cares enough, they will show up,
Right.
they will plan.
Right. They will.
If they
This is
care.
true. That is
And
the truth.
And I think that the big thing for our generation, men and females, is to stop making excuses for people.
Yeah.
Stop making excuses for poor behavior.
Yes.
And I think that's where I am, is that I know how I want to be treated and I
Hmm.
know how I want to be respected and what kind of partner works for me. And I'm no longer making excuses for people's behaviors. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think
A
that
hundred
that's
percent.
where a lot of people are.
Yeah,
If he wanted to, if she wanted to, they would,
they would. Yeah. I think that's a perfect place to wrap this up, baby, because it
right?
could not have been stated any better. If they
I
want
agree.
to, they would.
They would.
And if they don't, they won't.
They won't.
And you don't have to stay around and
No.
settle and wait and wait.
No,
Be
no
stuck
waiting.
in
This is
this
for men
space.
and women. Do
Yeah.
not wait. Like,
Yeah.
live your life. Because I really truly think the more that you live your life and you put down roots, that's when you get closer to finding someone who, in my opinion, is a better fit for you.
Right.
Because you're living your true authentic self, which
Right.
therefore is going to attract equally yoked individuals, whether that's friendship, romantic, whatever.
Yeah.
So, like we always say, do you be you, love you.
Yes. And on that note, we will wrap up
Yes.
this episode of the month of the Bachelor Breakdown. And we
Yes.
hope to see you next month.
Yes.
Love
And have a
you.
happy Valentine's
Have a
Day.
happy Valentine's
Celebrate
Day.
you, your
Make a
loved
plan for
one.
yourself, baby.
Yes. Yes.
Love on yourself. Mwah. We love you. Bye.